Hello and welcome to another episode of my Working with Todoist series. My name is Carl Pauline and this week I'm going to show you the ultimate Todoist workflow. Now, why am I focusing on workflows? Well, the reason is that when you develop the ideal workflow for you, and remember that keywords for you, then you are going to get Todoist to do most of the hard work for you every single day, because you start the day at the top of your workflow and you work your way down and you end your day at the final part of your workflow. You follow that every day and you guarantee to get all your important work done and to stay focused on what's important. Now, before we go any further, I would just like to say, if you do get any value from this video, then please help me by clicking on that like button below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and you want to get all the latest tips, tricks and news on using Todoist, then please subscribe to my channel. Okay, it's time for me now to take you into my Todoist demo account and let me show you the ultimate Todoist workflow. Okay, so here is what I would recommend you start off with as a basic setup. Now, the key part to this is that you don't go crazy. The temptation to add so many filters to this workflow means that you could end up with just an overwhelming list of lists. Now, the idea here is that you keep this as simple as you possibly can, so you remain focused on what is truly important today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. As long as you're doing your weekly planning sessions and you do a mini daily review, which only takes maybe 5 or 10 minutes, then you will always know what's coming up. You will always know what's on the horizon. Your radar will be working and it will be clear what events, what projects, what tasks you have to do. And as long as you're doing that, as long as you're maintaining the back end, and it doesn't take long, it takes no more than 10 to 15 minutes a day just to manage your inbox, to make sure things are in the right place, and to just double check that you've got the right tasks for tomorrow. So let me just go through this one. What I've got here, and this is just a basic setup. You can alter this, you can rename these as much as you like. First up, one of the things that a lot of people ask me about is how can I create a recurring morning routine? Now, this can be quite difficult because when you set up, like if you set it up as a, let's just say morning routines like this, so if you start to, I need to spell, but if I started something like this, morning routines, which sounds logical. So you've got the parent task there, you had the task, you open it up and then you create like task 1, task 2, etc. You could do that and you can set this to recur. So if I add a date to this, so I could say if we do every day. So I set this to recur. So that's great, it's recurring. I start the day, I check those off, and what happens, what happens is they're now checked off. Unless I set those to recur. Now, if I set these tasks to recur, they will just mess up my today view. So I always find that this is not a great way of doing morning routines. Logically, you think it worked, but sadly, it doesn't work. So let's just delete that task. So instead, what I would suggest you do, if you want to run your morning routines through Todoist, what I would recommend is, let's just go into this. What I've got is, I've got a label for morning routines. I would recommend that you create a label for morning routines. So if I just open this one here, what it is in the project, I've got the project is going to be in my routines. As you can see here, it's in daily routines. So that's the way I would set it up. So if I go to that project, my daily routines, as I open up projects, we go into my routines here. In my daily routines, I've got everything here, and this one has a label. So I can then use filters to actually to show these in a separate way. So I've created a label for that. So we'll just go into my labels. You'll see a label for morning routines right down here. I've actually got two. But anyway, for the purpose, this is because I was setting it up before we came in. So what I've done is I created a filter. So we go into the morning routines and here we go. So I start the day with my morning routines. So you can start off and then you check these off and they will come back tomorrow because individually these tasks are set up to recur. They're not going to mess up my today view. Well, they are, but I'm not looking at my today view because I'm using this as my workflow. I start here. I don't start here. If you start here, that's where you have an overwhelming list. That's what makes you go, oh, I've got a crazy day. Start here. I've now got this down to the 5. In this example, I've got 5 things that I want to do. Drink lemon juice. Well, that can just take a few minutes. Write my journal. Actually, this is one of my real ones. I spend 10 minutes every morning writing my journal. I do my stretches while I'm making coffee. I take my probiotic when I actually have my breakfast. And then I do 10 minutes meditation. Or I would like to do 10 minutes meditation. But if you add up all the time it takes to do this, you probably have about 30 minutes to do your morning routine. So if you're starting here, that's all you see. You don't see anything else. You don't need to see anything else because you're doing, in this moment, you're doing your morning routines. This is what you have set for today. Now, let's say, for example, that you do meditation 3 times a week. Well, in this particular example, I can change the task and do it every 3 days, for example. And then what will happen is that will not show up on the days I'm not going to do it. So this is one of the great ways of using a filter. Now, for those of you, and this is a very simple filter, but for those of you who are new to filters, this is really simple. All it is today, because you want to denote it today, and then the label at morning routines. So today, and then the label at morning routines. That's a really simple filter to create, and it will show you anything that's labeled morning routines and that has a date for today. So once you've done your morning routine, so let's say I've done all that, that's done, I've cleared that out as I've gone through the day, and that's it, done. Everything is done. My morning routines is now clear. I move down into my next one, which is today's focused work. So these are the 5 things in this example that I must do today. So I will do these tasks, and as I do them, let's say I do an exercise in the morning. I've actually done that already, so I check that off. I'm currently recording my YouTube videos. Once I've done that, I'll record the podcast because the microphone is all set up. I have some invoices to chase, and then later this afternoon, I will edit my YouTube videos. So let's just say, okay, I've now done that. I've done all my work here, and this is where you'll probably spend most of your day. And now that's clear. And then, so for those of you, I should go into that. So your today's focused work, if we just click on that, the filter for that is really, I've given this one to many times, today and exclamation mark P4. The exclamation mark means not. So not P4, P4 flag. So today and not P4. That's the filter query for that one. And then once you've cleared that, then I can move into what I call closing down. Now, closing down shows me my remaining tasks, the non-flagged tasks. And these are just like admin tasks. So I've got my clear up my today's admin, do my daily planning, which would be looking at tomorrow, which is here. And then just make sure that my email is cleared out, my action this day folder is cleared out, and then continue with a course that I'm doing, which is a life coaching course. And that then shows me the remaining tasks for the day. Once they're clear, so let's say I've done those, click, check, they're all done. I'm then got the one remaining task, which is my planning for tomorrow. And these are all my tasks that I've got set up for tomorrow. So exercise, I can play around with this and say, well, exercise, yeah, but review that. Let's just say that my business development is actually going to be one of my objectives for tomorrow. So which one here? So I've got my 2 objectives, and let me have a look. Daily planning, clean action, take the dog for a walk, update sales report. That absolutely needs to be done, say tomorrow. So I'm going to give that a flag. And I can go through this and I can do my 2+8 planning session here. My journal entries, my morning routines are at the bottom, but they're just going to recur every day anyway. I need to recur. That's another very important one. So I'm going to give that the orange flag. And let's see. And that may be it. That's because tomorrow is a Saturday. So that's maybe all the things that I want. These are my objectives for tomorrow. These are my focus tasks, my focused work for tomorrow. And then everything else will come up toward the end of the day. And that's it. I can then shut down my computer. Job done. I've done my planning. So I started off with my morning routines. I've done my today's focused work, which is where I spend most of the day. I then move into my closing down, and all that will be remaining are just the non-important tasks that are really admin. Now, you can create as many of these as you want, but I strongly recommend that you keep this as simple as possible. Now, for those of you curious, the closing down filter actually is really simple, but there's a reason why I want to show you this is because you need to be showing today and tomorrow, because when you move into closing down, there will be those non-flagged tasks still remaining. So you want to be able to see those, and then tomorrow's task, which would be the second day. And that's it. That's all you need to do. You can check the box here to add to favorites or remove from favorites. That's it. That's all you need. And you have a wonderful daily workflow that you can follow through. And as long as you stick with this, make this a habit, make this the daily driver of your work, you will stay focused on what's important. You'll also make sure that you do your morning routines every day, and you get to do your closing down planning session for tomorrow. It works. It really does. My whole system is based around workflow when I'm doing my daily work, and it just means that I don't have to worry about anything because Todoist is doing the hard work. I set it up so that I've done the back end work. I've set up the filters. I've set up the labels if I need them, and it just works. And that's what you want to be trying to achieve with your own Todoist. Take away the stress, take away the worry. As long as you've done the back end work and you do your daily planning, it will all come together and you don't have to worry about anything. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and it just remains for me now to wish you all a very productive week. Hello, thank you very much for watching my videos. Now I have something exciting to tell you about. Recently I have developed a brand new time management system. It's a system designed to manage your time in the 21st century. The world has changed a lot over the last 20 years. In fact, it's actually changed a lot this year. And what we need now is a system, a time management system that is very easy to use, easy to maintain, so that you can spend more of your time doing the work. And that's what the time sector system is all about. It's going to change your whole belief system about the way a time management system should work, because this focuses on when you are going to do the task. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter how motivated, inspired, or how urgent something is. If you don't have time to do it, it is never going to get done. And that's what this system is built around, getting your work done, so you can spend more of your time doing the things that you want to do. I hope you join me in this course. The full details of the course are in the show notes below, so please join me, and thank you very much for watching this brief video.